Alrighty. Hey guys, Mr. Adamson here. Welcome to another exciting lesson in Science 14. Today's lesson we're going to talk about human systems. So first thing we need to talk about are specialized cells. So previous lessons we've talked about the animal cell, we've talked about the specialization of the organelles within it. And we also talked about the levels of organization, how we go from atoms to molecules to cells to tissues. Groups of tissues are organs, groups of organs, organ systems. So anyways, that is all going to feed into here. So cells, tissues, and organs and systems are all designed for their special jobs. Now, each system in an animal or plant cell works to keep the plant or animal alive by performing certain functions. So a couple examples here. If we look at the first one, an animal cell's digestive system contains all of the organs necessary to take food and to change it into a form that the animal's body can use. So us, for example, in the morning, we eat toast or cereal or Pop-Tart or whatever. We take that, we break it down, and we take the necessary nutrients from that. So our digestive system does it, and anything we don't use, we expel as waste. If we look at a plant cell, a plant's root system includes a primary root, secondary root, and root hairs. The root system brings water and nutrients into the plant from its environment. They also have their leaves that photosynthesize, so they're going to take in the sun's energy and build sugars so they can grow. So I mean, you can see there's all these specialized cells in our body or a plant cell that helps sustain life. Now, if we look at specifically human systems, we have the digestive system here. So this top one, it starts with the mouth, you go down the esophagus into the stomach. I mean, food passes through the stomach into the small intestine, goes from the large intestine, and eventually any waste comes out through the anus. Now, you have other organs such as the liver. This is the largest organ inside the body, makes bile where it helps break down fats and helps also clean your blood. You have the gallbladder, stores bile that's made in the liver. We have the appendix, not a big, nobody exactly knows what it does. I mean, you don't need it. You can get appendicitis, but I think it has a lot of healthy bacteria stored in it. You have the pancreas just back here, this little yellow thing you can see. This makes enzymes for digestion and insulin, which helps you control your blood sugar levels. Okay, next one, if we go over here, we look at the central nervous system or the nervous system period. It's broken into the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system is your brain and spinal cord. So everything that we do, every function in our body is controlled by our brain. Now, some things that we do, such as reflexes, they don't actually have to go to your brain. The decision can be made in your spinal cord. And this is sensed by our peripheral nervous system, so all the nerves that branch out in our body. So example, you see something quickly flying towards your head and you move your head out of the way. Well, that is a reflex. And that message is sent quickly to your spinal cord and back to the area of your body and your muscles that you need to move. Okay, the cardiovascular system we see here, this is, just kind of an idea of how it works. We have our heart, we have deoxygenated blood, which is represented blue here. It's actually a very, very dark red. It's pumped to our lungs right here, picks up oxygen. The oxygenated blood is then pumped back to our heart, and then it's pumped out to the rest of our body. And then it goes all the way through our capillaries where it dissipates to the different tissues and cells within our body and loses that oxygen to those areas. And then it picks up waste and comes back to our heart to be pumped back to our lungs so we can expel the carbon dioxide that was picked up down here. Now, this is just kind of a rough example again of how the circulatory system works, or cardiovascular system. Both names are used interchangeably. If we look here, we have the respiratory system. Respiratory system helps us with our breathing. So we see that we have air that comes in through our mouth and nose, goes down through our trachea, and goes into our lungs. Now our lungs are going to be covered. If we look back here in the cardiovascular system, it's going to be covered with vessels and arteries where you're going to have that exchange of oxygen and waste within our lungs here. And so then the arteries are going to take that oxygenated blood throughout our body, and our lungs are going to breathe back out the carbon dioxide. We have a diaphragm here. It's a thin layer of muscle right in kind of the middle of our body. And that helps control our lungs, so that helps fill them up with air and breathe out. If we look here, here's a couple examples of some body tissue, some healthy body tissues. You can see a healthy brain tissue right here. This is a healthy looking heart. Okay, and this is a healthy set of human lungs. Okay, if we look here now compared to a smoker's body, we can see smoker's brain scans up here in this one. A non-smoker has a lot of brain function, a lot of nerve transmission that's going on. And a smoker, not saying that, I mean, you don't have brain function, but your brain function is actually limited. Your nerve cells don't fire as accurately as that of a non-smoker. We can see here in brain tissue, we have different tumors and areas that are starting to develop in hollow spots. This is lethal. We can see here we have a healthy heart compared to a damaged heart. So somebody who's maybe overweight or a smoker, you can see all the fatty tissue start to surround, and this will clog up the arteries. And then we can see over here, this is a non-smoker's lungs compared to a smoker's lungs. I just got a quick little YouTube video that I'm going to show you in relation to smoking cigarettes. So that's a non-smoker's lungs. You can see how those lungs just fill up nice and full of air. This is a smoker's lungs. You can see they're black with all the tar, and they don't fill up near as nicely. Cool thing about the lungs, though, if you do stop smoking, if you are a smoker, you can revert this process back to a healthy looking pair of lungs. So you're not stuck like this, but it will take a while. So the tar sticks to the cilia that would normally help to clean out the lungs. This will turn to cancer and over time turn your lungs black. Eventually, I mean, if you're smoking so long, this is an irreversible process. You see the white top of the tumor over there. So there's just a quick little video on what smoking does to your lungs. Hope you're able to take something from that, and thanks for listening.